Hey everybody, like many others, I decided to install a trolling motor on my kayak. I love my PDL Drive, still use it. This was just something I wanted to do as a project and see how it turned out. I plan to try to use it and we'll see what happens. So I'll show you around the project and give you a little more information as I go. I'm not showing you the build, that's just something I don't have the patience to do. So I'll show you the finished project, or what I think is the finished project, and I'll show you some on-the-water sea trial footage in the video as well. So what I started with is a Newport Vessels Kayak Series trolling motor. It has a 24-inch shaft and is a little bit more designed for a kayak application. I wanted to be able to place the motor where the pedal drive normally sits, which is right in this cutout. The first thing I did was to make this deck plate for the trolling motor to pass through. I used 1/2-inch PVC board and did a little build-up on the bottom side for a little extra strength. I also used this piece, which is a stock part of the trolling motor setup. It is the quick release to tilt the motor when you use it in its stock configuration. So between this collar and this piece, this allows the trolling motor shaft not to drop below a certain depth that I set. And this piece provides stability and does not allow the trolling motor to move around. I didn't want to operate the trolling motor with the stock head and speed control handle that you would normally see on a trolling motor, so I took that off, and I have the wires coming out through the top of the trolling motor through a couple of pieces of PVC just to help direct the cables, and then I just put the cables inside of a wire protector, and then I've routed the cables through the hull just to have a cleaner setup. I also assembled a series of PVC parts to provide additional stability to the trolling motor. So I installed these quick connects to have a cleaner setup and to also be able to easily remove the trolling motor just like you do the pedal drive. So I decided to locate the switch right here next to my seat so that I have the same access to the switch as I do the rudder control and keep my other hand free. So I simply turn the trolling motor on, and then I'm right here to be able to start steering. I wanted to route all the cables through the hull again to try to have a clean setup. I located the cables for the switch. I came in the hatch in the front of the kayak down the side and did the same job with the quick connects as I did previously. I use the same quick connect setup for all the wires that run through the hull. One pair of wires is for the switch, one pair of wires is for the power to the motor, and one pair of wires is for the battery. So I decided to take the stock switch out of the housing and use it for now, because I tried using a pulse width modulator or speed controller, which many of you have done, but after 2.5 hours of a sea trial I burned it up, so I decided to just use the stock switch for now. I'll pursue another speed controller or pulse width modulator down the road at some point. And finally, there's a set of wires that runs through the hole back here to the battery, to another quick connect, and my battery sits back here in the storage well in the back. I did decide to put my battery in a battery box just to have it housed and to also have a clean setup. It just is a little bit more tidy in my opinion, so that's really the only reason I got a battery box. It does have some capability that I probably won't use, but it's there in case I decide to. I'm not going to, in this video, talk about what the battery is that I purchased and I'm using, other than it is a 100 amp hour lithium battery. If you have interest to know specifically which one I decided to use, you can drop me a question in the comments. But this is the setup, and it was a fun project. It also works pretty well. I'm happy with the way it turned out. All right, a lot of wind today, but attempt number 2 with the trolling motor. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so the Marine patrol boat just left out. He's out there in front of me. He came over to me in the parking lot and said, "You sure you want to go out in that thing?" I said, "Of course," because, you know, there's small craft advisories and stuff today, but, you know, I don't have good sense. We already know that, but, yeah, I'm not worried. All right, yeah, we've got the pedal drive in the back, just in case, and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. I resealed the deck with another piece of gasket on the bottom, so that closed up that area nice and is keeping the water from coming in at all, so that's good. So while we're underway trolling, here's the battery. It's in the back, and I've got it quick connect into the hole right here to connect the battery. We're trolling right now on speed 2 with the trolling motor, by the way. And of course I brought my pedal kayak with me in the back here just in case I need to deploy that. And right now I'm heading toward that lighthouse over there. Got to troll around that for a little bit. And because it's rough out here today, there's a little water that's come over the side of the kayak. Got a little water splash down there, but the first time out I had a little water coming in around the cutout, and I put another piece of weather stripping on the actual deck of the kayak in addition to the piece that's up underneath the deck plate. But I have, you know, the same kind of quick connects up here for the trolling motor, so I just disconnect those quick connects, and this whole thing pops out just like the pedal drive does. And that's about it. I've got, this is my speed controller over here right next to the rudder control, so I just turn the knob here to set the speed. Right now I have it on 2 as I'm trolling over, and right under my seat, which you probably can't see, but right under my seat, those leads go and connect to the hull. All the wiring through the hull, all the wiring is run inside the hull, so nothing is out on the deck. So anyway, so far so good. We'll see what happens. Version 2 of the trolling motor setup, which the only thing that's different is the fact that I've got the stock trolling motor switch in place instead of the PWM pulse width modulator or speed control. Alright, so we're about 3.5 hours in on the sea trial. So far so good. We're just kind of making our way back toward the launch. That's the Bay Bridge out there in the distance. We're going to kind of follow the shoreline around since it's a little choppy today. Try to stay out of the rougher water as we're making our way back, as we're going right straight into the wind. Yep. Better than 3.5 hours in, been running it non-stop, and it's doing well. It might become a thing, you never know. Checking out the nice waterfront properties on the way back in. That's basically it. I was happy with the way the project turned out. I look forward to trying to fish with it when the next fishing season comes back around. Unfortunately, I didn't get this done until right at the end of this season, though I had a chance to do a sea trial. I didn't really get a chance to fish with it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments section and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks for watching.